Ah, you're awake! Finally. I was honestly getting worried that you were a lost cause for a moment there. Ah, don't give me that look. If you knew how many of you I'd seen, well, never mind that. Your eyes are still adjusting, so I would advise that you do not turn or look out of the window just yet. I can see that you're struggling to speak. That's relatively normal. I'm sure you've had plenty of dreams where you did plenty of talking, but believe me, the only exercise your vocal cords have had all this time is the mumbling you've been doing in your sleep every so often. Try to give a few basic responses to the questions I ask, and you should find that your ability to speak comes back gradually. Now, if I poke your shoulder, can you feel this? Mm-hmm. And which shoulder did I poke? Excellent. And the other shoulder? Great. I don't doubt that you have a lot of questions, and I promise to answer them as best as I possibly can. Right now, all you need to know is that I saved you, and you've been asleep for a very, very long time. What? I mean, I can see you're trying to mouth something, but as I said, your vocal cords are still a bit... Oh, of course. Yes. How long? You want to know how long? Well, I guess... all the time? I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be facetious. It's just that there's no simple answer to that question. How about we do a few more tests, and I'll try to explain things more, okay? Very well. I'm gonna make a sound in one of your ears, and I just want you to tell me what you heard, and in which ear you heard it the closest to, okay? Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Fantastic. Feel free to try and move around a little. I couldn't really do much about your vocal cords, but I've been able to keep your muscles from withering away, so that's good. You might struggle to find your balance for some time, so I would suggest some basic movements before you even think about getting up. Now, if you just allow me to scan your retinas... Whoa, hey, what's wrong? You don't feel feverish. What's going... The window. Shh. It's okay. Please, try to breathe. You're okay. Give me your hands, please. There you go. You can crush mine if that's what it takes, but I just need you to breathe, okay? Shh. Just lay back, okay? There you go. You're okay. One last test and I will explain as I go, okay? I need one hand back, but you can hold the other as long as you need to. Close your eyes, and I will tell you when to open them, okay? Great. So, to try and explain our situation, I don't suppose you're familiar with the concept of a super task, are you? I think it might be the only way any of this might even make a little sense. Well, to put it simply, imagine you have to run a race. You have to get from point A to point B, but with one limitation. Every step you take in this race has to be half the length of the previous step. Right eye open, please. Excellent. So you see, in this hypothetical race, you'd never actually be able to reach the end. Even if there are only a few steps between the start and the end of the race, the end becomes unreachable, because you'd have to take smaller steps each time. It is a race with a logical and visible end, and yet you could participate for an eternity and never finish. Now your left eye. Perfect. No damage to the optic nerve. A super task is impossible, of course. The concept has no real bearing on our world, or at least, It didn't. Until you and the others... Well... You died. Sort of. You have been dying for, forever? There were maybe a few thousand of you. Some made it. Others didn't. It's like you all fell asleep one day and then your vitals just kept dropping and dropping, but they never quite hit zero. Like the race. I don't know why not everyone made it. To this day, it remains a personal failure of mine. Anyway, at some point we figured out how to induce this state. It became an obsession. It was like immortality contained within a nap. and the best part is that if someone was to be put in this state artificially, they could be revived from it. No issues, no side effects. The world went insane. As for those of you who went under originally, you were basically forgotten. Mild curiosities in a world that very quickly found better things to think about. I never gave up, though. I refused to. While the world started falling apart, I gathered all of you that I could. I devoted my life to figuring out what happened to you and trying to bring you back. Every last one of you. Eventually we moved off Earth. Everyone did. I would keep putting myself into this state and bringing myself back. I had the lab automated to wake me if so much as a speck of dust moved through the air. It turned out, ultimately, that all you needed was time. A lot of time. The first of you woke up long after our galaxy collided with Andromeda. That's the view you saw outside the window, by the way. And the last of you? Well, that's you. You're the only one left. All this time, and I'm no richer in answers other than the fact that time was the answer. I'm sorry. I noticed you haven't let go of my hand at all. Is everything okay? Are you feeling any stiffness in your arm? It might be a symptom of, You think I needed this hand as much as you did? Well, you're awfully kind for someone who slept through every end of the world imaginable. The others? The person before you woke up some 15,000 years ago? They took the news remarkably well. About as well as you. It took some time for them to acclimate, and then they took a ship and left. Whether they found anything, or if they found anyone, it's not for me to know. I've seen the whole spectrum of reactions, really. Denial, anger, insanity. It's a lot to take in. Not everyone handles it well. I've tried to help everyone. It's all I've ever done. I only wish I could say that I've always succeeded. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that people have a delayed response to everything they've learned. It might take some time to truly understand what has happened, and just how long it's been. All I ask that is if you ever feel overwhelmed or anxious, then you let me know. And I promise, I will take care of you. You're not alone in any of this. Sit with you? Of course. Oh, and you can ask me anything you want. It's the least I can do. Are we the only ones left? I don't think so. It has been a very long time. But, well, others like you're the most resilient group of people I've ever known. If anyone had a chance to build back up after everything that happened, it would be those of you that woke up. I was too focused on making sure you all survived to go out there and explore. It was low on my list of priorities. Though I suppose now, I guess. Would you like to find out what's out there? We've got all the time in the world, after all.